Welcome to Hitman Boxing. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. So, I just saw the Danny Garcia interview where in this interview he's talking about Terence Crawford and how Terence Crawford isn't pound for pound number one, and basically because he's never beat anybody at 140. You know, he's criticizing Terence Crawford because of his level of opposition. And we'll talk about that first and foremost, okay? Because you can look at Terence Crawford's record up and down, and you can see that he hasn't fought the toughest opponents out there. I mean, you could say he's fought the toughest people at 140, maybe. But as far as him having a deep, solid resume, he doesn't have a deep, solid resume. You know, I give him credit for the Gamboa win and the Victor Postal win, man. And Felix Diaz was a good win, too. Not taking anything away from Terence Crawford. He did unify the division. He became undisputed champion at 140. We can't take that away from him. And we also can't critique him for the opponents that he faced, because just so happens this is the best that 140 had to offer at the time that he was running through all these people, right? Now, another thing I will say about Terence Crawford is that he pretty much beat all of these guys very easily, very convincingly, right? He ran through them basically. So, you know, you putting Terence Crawford on your pound-for-pound list at number one, I have no problems with that at all. No problems with that at all, you know. His skill set is second to none in boxing today. So, but I can see what Danny Garcia is saying about his resume, at least when you compare it to Danny Garcia, because really, Danny Garcia did go through the gauntlet. He fought Eric Morales. He fought Amir Khan. He fought Zab Judah. He had a close fight with Lamont Peterson. Dang, who else, man? Like, even just those names alone, man. Like, I'm not even saying that Terence Crawford couldn't beat these dudes. Oh, Lucas Matisse? What? How am I forgetting Lucas Matisse? You know, and that's not to say that if Terence Crawford fought those guys, he wouldn't beat them, because he definitely would have beat the same opposition that Danny Garcia has fought. But Danny Garcia is just pointing out the fact that Terence Crawford's record is kind of trash, all right? We just don't put it out there like that. It's just trash, okay? Now, we could say that Danny Garcia dug Victor Postal. We could say that he really didn't want any problems with Terence Crawford when they were both at 140. You know, they fought in the amateurs twice. They both got a win over each other, so they 1-1 in the amateurs. But, you know, when Terence Crawford was talking about he wanted to fight Danny Garcia over here, his pop's talking about Terence Crawford got a nappy head or something stupid like that. Like, what are you talking about, man? Now, Danny Garcia says if Terence Crawford, you know, he's at 147 now. If he beats one of these champions, then we could talk about him being pound for pound number one, or then we could start talking about ranking him up there with some of the other welterweights. But here's my take on it. All you got to do, Danny, all you got to do, bro, all you got to do is fight Terence Crawford and show us that he ain't really that tough of a fighter, right? You're giving yourself all this credit, you know, saying, had I beat Thurman, they wouldn't have said I would have been pound for pound number one. It don't matter because you ain't beat him. All right? I'm sick of this shit with Danny Garcia. Where you been at the last 6 months? You've been modeling for Echo shirts. Nobody rocks Echo no more. And if you want to say something about him trying to get money off Echo, y'all need to calm that bullshit down. He getting money off his store. I know what Danny Garcia up to. He ain't doing nothing right now. It look like he ducking your boy. He ducking what's that boy name? Sean Porter. It looks like he was ducking Sean Porter. I don't care if he coming off a loss right now. We just talking about boxing, right? He coming off a loss. He ducked Sean Porter. He ducking Errol Spence. You know what? That's a topic for another video. We're gonna talk about the welterweight division, and maybe I'll drop a video tonight about that. But we're going live tonight as well with Sporting Icon and Kiwi Boxing tonight at about 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So be on the lookout for that. Now, damn, where were we? Oh yeah, Terence Crawford, Danny Garcia. Terence Crawford is at 147 right now. All you got to do is make the fight with Terence Crawford and show us that Terence Crawford really ain't that nice. That he ain't got nice hands. That's all you got to do. It's simple. He don't got a fight. You don't have a fight. Well, you're negotiating with Brandon Rios. That's a cherry pick, right? Call it what it is. definitely a cherry pick in my opinion. Because we know you're going to beat Brandon Rios. It should be an exciting fight, though, for as long as it lasts. I mean, you know, matter of fact, I hope Brandon Rios knock your ass out. Now, all you got to do, bruh, is fight Terence Crawford. Because Terence Crawford, regardless of anybody's opinion, he's number 1 pound for pound, man. You know, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to give Terence Crawford his props finally, all right? Because if you think about it, if you think about his skill set and then just transition it up the rankings, it's just, he's unstoppable, man. And I think he beats most people at 147. That's just my opinion. You know, everybody's on this Errol Spence shit, but I don't think Spence, I don't know, man. I don't know if Spence could beat Terence Crawford. I don't know. But I do know one thing for sure. I know Terence Crawford will beat Danny Garcia, and he'll make it look easy because Danny Garcia is super slow, flat-footed, good counterpuncher, got decent power. His power ain't all that. He ain't stopped nobody at 147. He couldn't stop Robert Guerrero. Did he stop Paulie? Yeah, he stopped Paulie, though. But that's Paulie, right? You had a debatable fight with Lamont Peterson. Like, when we talk about Terence Crawford, we don't talk like this. We don't talk about Terence Crawford having debatable fights. We don't talk about Terence Crawford being an underdog. We don't talk about him barely winning fights because he wins his fights convincingly. Danny Garcia does not win all of his fights convincingly. You already got a loss on your record, bro. You were supposed to beat Keith Thurman, but you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. You know, and you still not trying to give Keith Thurman his props on beating. You keep on saying, oh, he was the better man that night. I hate when people say that shit, all right? No, he's a better fighter than you. That night, tonight, tomorrow night, it don't matter. It don't matter, Danny. It don't matter. So, you know, you talking about you want to fight Keith Thurman, you want to rematch with him. I mean, you ducked Sean Porter. I mean, the WBC was going to order you to fight Sean Porter for a chance to fight Keith Thurman. So what's up with that, man? Like, what is you doing? What else? You don't want to fight Errol Spence. You don't want a shot at a world title. Isn't that what you want to do? You want to become a world champion again at 147? So, what? You know, these dudes are full of shit, man. All of these dudes in boxing, and it's not just the welterweight division, it's the heavyweight division. It's all these divisions, man. They're all full of it, man. And I'm sick of it, you know? Danny Garcia is no exception. Keith Thurman is no exception. And you know what? One day Errol Spence is going to be on some bullshit too. I'm just going to put that out there, all right? Your favorite fighter is going to one day be bitch made. Simple as that, right? All right? So, I want to see Danny Garcia versus Terence Crawford. And really the only thing that will hold this fight up would be the fact that Danny Garcia is an Al Heyman guy and Terence Crawford is a top-ranked guy. Right? So, what can we do? What can we do about this? And, you know, I seen an interview with Terence Crawford. You know, he didn't seem so willing to want to fight any of these PBC guys either, man. Like, I'm not making this up. He was like, he basically said, you know, if it don't make sense monetarily, then it make no sense to fight them. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what happened to the dog in these dudes, man? What happened to wanting to be the best fighter in your weight class? What happened to wanting to be the best fighter, period? You know, when you turn down fights, when you run from dudes, you can't say that, man. And I'm not even calling Terence Crawford a ducker, man, but he's starting to talk like some of these dudes now, talking about if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? So you can sit over there on Top Rank with Bob Arum and cherry pick, you know, their 147-pound fighters over there. That's not cool. None of that's cool to me. Danny Garcia, you're going to fight Brandon Rios, okay? You fight Brandon Rios, what are you going to do after that? What's the next move? You could have been had a world title shot. You going to fight, what's the boy name? I don't even know. I can't even, like, fathom what Danny Garcia would do after beating Brandon Rios. So I'm sure he would call out Keith Thurman, but everybody's calling Keith Thurman out. You know, there used to be a time when nobody called Keith Thurman out. Sean Porter won him. Spence wants him. Hell, even Terence Crawford called him out. Mikey Garcia, like, I don't know what's going on at 147. I just wish I could fast forward to summer of 2018 so we could get some of this bullshit out the way and, you know, see what's next. You know, Keith Thurman should be back by then. you know. But I guess they expect this dude to face an A-level fighter every time he come back, since he only fight once a year. You might as well, right? You can't be fighting. You can't fight a A-level fighter 1 year, then a bum the next year, and then go back to fight another A-level fighter the next year because you only fighting once. Man, this shit make me so sick. Hitman Boxing. Let me know what you think about Danny Garcia versus Terence Crawford. Who do you think will win that fight? Why? I mean, really, if you're not saying Terence Crawford, then you're fooling yourself. Because if you really think Danny Garcia could win, you need to close this video down. Hitman Boxing, I'm out.